Alright, Assisted Living fans, we're talking Season 2, Episode 15, entitled Art Tank. Now, when I did my episode review for last week, there weren't any comments on it, so unfortunately I don't have a lot of people to gauge thoughts of, because I scored the episode pretty low, mainly due to the fact that I did not like the, and I hate to use this word because it doesn't even feel like it, resolution to the Philip storyline about him skipping his chemistry assignments but excelling in manual labor or a trade, and his parents not really wanting him to do that but wanting to make him go to college. In this episode, again, I feel like Philip got crapped on, and I hate that. So I will give this episode a 6 out of 10. Not a high score, but I did enjoy most of it. I did enjoy most of the episode. So before going further in the video, make sure you take a moment to hit the thumbs up button to show you like it. Also hit the bell icon and select all, because when I update videos or post something in the community tab or go live, I want you to know about it. Hit subscribe, because we are close. We are very close to 190,000 subscribers, and follow me on social media. Links are in the description below. Alright, so Brown, Vinny, and the residents of the facility are playing like a Monopoly style game. And, they go over, different properties and this and that. And Cora comes in talking about Art Tank, where basically they're trying to get the elderly residents of the area to come up with different ideas to basically innovate lifestyles for those in their age range. And the winner gets $10,000. She came up with the plan, hey, why don't we work together as a team, and if we come up with a winning prize, we could just split the prize through, 6 ways, right? Cora, Brown, Vinny, Anastasia, Reginald, and Effie. So everybody's game for it, and then they actually have a team meeting. I'm going to talk about the Art Tank story arc first, and then I'll talk about the Philip and Sandra stuff. So basically, they have a team meeting where I believe that Brown is like the coach or the captain, and everybody has different ideas, but Reginald shoots him down. And well, while he might seem a bit, egotistical, he is right about certain things, like Anastasia bringing up wrinkle water, where it's like every drop means a wrinkle stops, but they don't have time to get that kind of stuff factory tested. I believe F.A. had the idea about African food, food brought from Africa that's like temperature controlled, so to speak. Nope, that's not going to work. Vinny says love lotion, where you and your partner put it on before you make love, and you smell like collard greens. And then after that, Anastasia brings like a 24-hour burial service where there could be like a $20 visitor fee. And again, Reginald shoots down the fact that these ideas are awful. I'm going to go solo. He basically pulled a Bobby Brown. And afterwards, the inspector, yes, the inspector we've seen in like 3 episodes so far, is actually like the judge who will present the ideas to the community center, which will then contact the Art Tank group and then decide who wins. So the judges are himself, and beside him are Brown and Cora. Anastasia comes out first with moonwalkers, aka insoles, which apparently caress your soles and give you foot massages while you're walking, that basically heal, your pores and things like that. I mean, it is said that reflexology, is amazing because your feet have like nerves connected to all the parts of your body. So that gets a no after she kicks off her heels and throws one to Brown, throws one to the inspector. Afterwards, we have F.A. with a cane boomerang, which for obvious reasons would not be a good idea. He said if you ever lose your cane, then you can hit a button on this device and your cane will come back to you like a boomerang. Didn't account for collateral damage from that. Vinny comes in with wheelchair spinners that actually play music. That was a great idea. Why did they not jump at that one? And then we have Reginald coming in with an artificial intelligent thinking cap, which I don't know how he proved it to be something that actually worked. I mean, he made a jab at Brown. It's like, oh, I know you're thinking, why didn't you come up with such a great idea? And then He reads the inspector's thoughts, and it didn't seem legit. I'm sorry, it just didn't. At least with Anastasia's, it's like, yeah, if you put these on your feet, they're going to feel comfortable when you're walking, even though technically I do feel like those are insole ripoffs. And then when F.A. pulled out the boomerang cane, at least he showed it, work like a boomerang, even though it hit somebody on the way out of the room. But the artificial thinking cap, I felt like, was a spoof, and it made no sense. He basically tried to become Professor X by putting that on, and I don't see how it worked. But at the last minute, Mr. Brown wins with his emotional wristband, and I'm like, that was pretty funny because Brown, of all people, won. And Reggie is pissed off about it because he's going to find some way to find a technicality. And at the end of the episode, Brown is sitting on the couch talking with Cora about I got a list of everybody I love, and I'm going to buy him something when I get this prize money. But Reginald comes in saying, I went to the community center, and it turns out that Brown's entry was 0.0 seconds late. And as a result, he was disqualified. What? And then at the very end, he apologizes. I've been competitive ever since my wife left me for this rodeo guy or whatever. And he says he'll split the money with Brown. First of all, does that mean Reginald won? And if so, did that helmet really work? Secondly, yeah, that was really petty as I don't know what. 0.0 seconds, that was stupid. Seriously. At least Brown's wristband band was set to be like, responsive to one's emotions. Like, what do they call those things? Mood rings. So I honestly don't see the point. Sure, him splitting the money is cool, but that doesn't make up for the fact that that was an asinine tactic just because you lost. Don't get me wrong, I'm a sore loser my damn self, but seriously, at least Brown proved his invention actually worked. Not to mention, I thought Brown was actually being very gracious. The fact that he said I had a list of everybody I wanted to give stuff to, as opposed to when he got his 40 grand back, or he made back the 40,000 at the facility. And instead of doing the basic repairs that the residents wanted, like fixing a shower rod or getting a TV for the room or fixing a toilet or a leaky faucet, he opted to blow the money on himself when he could have just spent a few $100s getting things done for the residents of the facility. But here we have Brown actually choosing to do something for other people. Like, for example, what if Reginald disqualified or got Brown disqualified and somebody they didn't know won the prize money, and Brown was actually going to spend the money on the residents at the facility? He'd feel pretty dumb, wouldn't he? Sheesh. All right, but this was a funny storyline in terms of like the inventions everybody was coming up with. Even though I think Vinny should have won because at least he proved his thing worked. Just saying. It would have been different if we saw Anastasia's foot pads working on people. So there was that. All right, so the other storyline involves Sandra being upset that Philip gets to break curfew when his parents basically don't think too much of it, because apparently he was out late on man time and he got his dad like a funnel cake or something and they watched the movie, whereas Sandra did the same thing not too long ago and got grounded for like 2 weeks. So Anastasia overhears when she's talking with Jeremy about it, and basically it comes down to he's a boy and you're a girl. You're vulnerable and there are more chances of you getting into some situations if you're out late at night as opposed to Philip. And, Anastasia talks to her about chauvinism and teaches her about Ida B. Wells. And she makes like a presentation to Leah and Jeremy about equal rights for women. And Philip stops by and says, hey, hanging out with the guys and they're like, oh yeah, be home by midnight. Okay, cool. But I'll just bring a funnel cake home, basically insinuating he's going to break curfew. But instead of being able to go out, they make him stay in and study women or equal rights, and that's it. I'm sorry, but yet again, they're dropping the ball with the parenting going on here. Think of it this way. Sandra is understandably upset that she's treated a different way than her brother, not to mention her brother gets to break rules and not really get penalized for it. But if you go back to season 1, Sandra has her parents have a reason to be more stricter with her because Philip never snuck out. I mean, how many times did Sandra sneak out in season 1 to be with Lindor? 2 or 3 times, right? And then she was disrespectful, backtalk. Basically, one child is easily more trustworthy than the other. You can't ignore everything you did, Sandra, in season 1 that went against the established rules by your parents. I mean, Philip was the good kid that barely got any attention because of the fact that Sandra was the one who always broke the rules and was disrespectful and whatnot. So I just feel like it was bad parenting going on, just like in the last episode where Philip got crapped on instead of being praised for being good at a trade. But it's like, hey, son, just make sure you do your homework because your quote unquote job now is to make sure you pass high school. After that, the discussion about what you want to do is, something we'll bring up. But for now, do your homework. But, hey, go ahead and make those do-it-yourself videos because you're good at it. So it's like they crap on Philip's strengths in order to dictate how they want him to live. Whereas they do come to an agreement that basically they come to a reasonable decision about the Sandra situation. Yeah, maybe it isn't fair you're treated differently, but you completely forgot about all the time she literally snuck out of the house without telling anybody where you were. So it's like, that's what's bringing the episode down. I feel like the way Philip was treated in the episode and the way Reginald acted were reasons why this episode didn't get a higher score than a 6. It wasn't a terrible episode, but I do feel for like 2 weeks in a row, the show has been kind of dropping the ball at the very end. It's like they're making it down the field throughout a majority of the episode, but they fumble right before they get to the goalpost. So 6 out of 10 for me. It did make me laugh. The Art Tank scene was probably my favorite one of the episode, just because, like I said before, I love just seeing the different personality quirks of the characters and what they bring to the table. So yeah, this episode had its ups and it had its downs, but overall, definitely watchable. So hopefully next week we get back on track, because I feel like for 2 episodes in a row, I've had to speak negative about assisted living, and I really hate it because of the fact that this entire season, I've had nothing but good things to say. Maybe 1 or 2, like, okay, I'm taking off a point for this or that, but I don't really think that the Jeremy Leah storylines or anything they're involved with the kids have been handled in the best possible way that they could. I'm not saying they're bad parents, but I think maybe it's because of the episode format not being long enough for their storylines to actually really matter in terms of getting a setup and a proper conclusion where both sides learn from something. So thanks so much for tuning in. As I mentioned before, like and subscribe. And if you want to take it one step further, feel free to donate to the Art Tank that is this channel by hitting me up on PayPal or Cash App. Thanks so much, guys, and I'll catch you in the next video.